everyone, Fusion Kamnacha, and hope this video finds you doing super well. So this is about a week or so after Facebook Connect, which I cringe at saying that name, Oculus Connect, and I like doing an update video around this time. I'll try to keep it as brief as possible, and to be honest, I haven't seen too much from Oculus Connect outside of kind of the main announcements, but there's in general just kind of one main thing I kind of wanted to stress. And thanks to Road to VR for keeping me up to date as always, but it had to pertain specifically to this one article around Facebook discontinuing the Rift and kind of making this push towards primarily doing standalones, which I think is a very interesting move. The Quest has been primarily the main headset that's been selling super well, obviously with the Quest 2. As a slight tangent, make sure if you're at all considering to get a Quest 2, either for the holidays or for yourself, make sure to put your pre-order in, because I can almost guarantee that it's going to be sold out by the holidays. Side tangent aside, but I'd imagine the Quest 2 is really going to do super well, and it just makes sense to move towards standalones and consider offloading the compute, if you really need to your PC or desktop or laptop even, for that matter, if you really want the high-end graphics. And I think ultimately, I mean, if I think about like even say how Abrash has talked about VR and AR and kind of his time frame of things to eventually getting to those glasses that we all care about, you're going to have to offload a lot of this compute. We can't actually put big physical GPUs onto people's heads and expect that to be a magical experience. But the obvious question is, where's the compute coming from? Are you going to be tethered? No one really wants to be tethered. I mean, we're obviously seeing a shift away from being tethered. So that compute has to be wireless. And I think it makes a ton of sense for it to be wireless. And so that way you can stack the best GPUs, the best CPUs, whatever you want off in the cloud or on the edge, and stream that into your headset. You could do any light processing on that headset, but I think as we start to see this trend towards make things standalone, make things smaller, that compute has to go somewhere to maintain that same visual fidelity. And I think that's for now going to be tethered, but I think when we're talking 2022, 2023, 2024, that's eventually going to start to become wireless. And I think that's one of those areas where you're going to start to see more people start to adopt the technology in terms of form factor. Again, I've said this from the beginning, VR to me and AR to me are not like short-term things. Yes, there's a lot of cool things you can do in the short term, but the technology is going to be constantly evolving. And if we're talking about moving towards standalone, moving to smaller devices, that's really the only way forward, is to offload that compute. And I think if you'd asked me that a year or two ago, I would have said no way. Like that can't happen anytime soon. That can't happen within a decade even. But I think throughout this year, I've kind of shifted my expectations a little bit from all of the amazing people that I've seen working in this kind of whole networking problem, this whole networking space, and trying to figure out how to make that effectively bring data centers closer to individuals. And that's kind of made me shift my expectations. Again, not for the short term, but I think, again, we're talking like 2023, 2024 timeline. Some of which is practical today, but not at the global scale that we're all used to. And I mean, even Carmack had said it himself in quite literally the only session, talk, rant, whatever you want to call it, really. If you look at say 9 minutes, and I think 32 minutes, he talked specifically about latency and CloudXR.
But I want people to not make small, weak goals, none of this, well, we want to be better than a cell phone. We should go really hardcore and say, well, we want 50 milliseconds of latency for conversations.
And I think he's absolutely right that, again, these are not short-term things, but we want to get to the point where you need to reduce latency in terms of networking in order to really get to the point where immersion feels good in VR and you're not talking over one another like we constantly do during every and all video conferencing solutions. So to that end, I think the networking piece is a critical component that a lot of people are working towards and making it usable, and that's kind of the key part. It has to be usable. And I think that's something that I personally have kind of shifted my focus a little bit, and I'm paying a lot of attention to. It's part why I wanted to make this video, because that's kind of one of the key things that I noticed from Oculus Connect, that I think when you look at the decisions that Oculus is making, it starts to lead down this rabbit hole of latency and networking and offloading, and that suggests to me that that's how they're thinking about their plans moving into the future. That's my hot take. I'd be curious to know from you guys down in the comments below if that's something that you see kind of happening moving into the future. In general, if you're interested in learning more about kind of this offloading topic, this latency topic, definitely feel free to leave a comment below. It's something, again, that I've been spending a ton of time thinking about, and I do think in this concept of moving to standalones, and this concept of offloading processing to computers that are a lot more physically close to you, it's something that I think you guys should be thinking about, which is why I'm mentioning it. And it's something I'm happy to talk about. And so drop a comment below if you're interested in talking about that. I'm happy to set up some time, do some individual calls even. I think that it's just incredibly valuable. And I'm kind of hoping that can kind of transition a little bit into some more content that'll happen here on the channel, just because that's where I've been dedicating so much of my time. And I think within the next few months, I'll be able to start sharing a lot more of it, which I'm really excited to do. And I think that's something you guys can look forward to a lot more. So that's it. That was kind of the main thing I wanted to talk about, kind of some of the things that I'm working on that I feel kind of correlated with what I saw at Oculus Connect. So thanks so much for watching. And again, looking forward to talking with you guys down in the comments below. So until next time, this has been Fuse, man. And I'm signing out.